to the channel. So today I'm looking at all the East Coast Ranchu Oranda fry one by one. And we're starting off with this guy. Obviously I don't know if they're male or female, they're still young, but I have a habit of calling them all dudes. So this one looks a lot like the dad. The dad is a broadtail Oranda, and if you haven't seen him or the mom before, you can go back to the first video that I talk about with having these guys, and you will see pictures of those. This one also looks very similar to the first one, again with taken back after the dad. It will be interesting to see them color up, because dad is totally orange and mom is orange, black, and white. So it will be very interesting to see how they turn out. I do have several that look a lot like the mom, and you're getting ready to see one of them. This one looks a lot like Sakara. It has button eyes, as she does, and it's like a pinky, but I think she kind of started out the same way, so this one could very well take back after her a lot. But because they're so young, it's really hard to tell. They are 4 weeks and 5 days old right now, and they've grown very, very quickly, considering I've only raised 2 batches of fry, and this one has grown so much faster than the last. So here's another one that looks very, very much like the mom. She looks probably the most out of probably all of them, honestly. She's getting the body shape that Sakara does, and the tail is very similar to Sakara. If you look at her up close, and it's kind of hard to see in the video, she has metallic scales, just like Sakara does. And she's starting to get some black markings on the tail that's starting to come through. So here is this little guy. This one looks a lot like Dodge, especially its tail, probably more so than the other ones do. And it's one of the bigger fish than the first two were. As far as size, it is somewhat bigger than the other ones. I don't see anything that, so far with the fish you've seen, I have not culled or don't feel as if I need to cull any of those. This one scared me a little bit when I first looked at her. If you notice her tail, if you're not looking really close, it almost looks like she has tail rot. But I got really close and I realized that she does not have tail rot. That's actually gray coloring that is starting to come through on the tail, just like the mom has. So I was actually quite relieved to see that. And there are several more like that. This one also, I think it's this one that actually, when you look at her up close, she has blue eyes. This one does have blue eyes. I remember her. She has the gray coloring in the tail. Looks like tail rot again, but it's not. Sakara has a lot of different colors in her tail, so I think that's where they're getting this. And I'd say this one and the one that I said before that looks a lot like the mom, they're probably 2 of my favorites so far, just because of how much they look like Sakara. I love Sakara. Sakara is one of my favorite fish. So breeding her and seeing all these babies is really, really cool. So here is one of the blue-eyed girls, and this one is a runt. It is smaller than the other ones. It's not that big of a deal right now because they're still young. Probably this weekend I will begin separating them into 2 different tubs. They're in a 40-gallon tub right now. But I'm probably going to separate them biggest to smallest, so the larger fish will go in one tote and then the smaller ones in the other. This dude is most like Dodge, but not my favorite. It will probably be cold. I'll just have to see. I'll probably do my culls next week. But the caudal lobes are not even, which I noticed today actually when I started taking the video. So he might have issues later on, but I'll just have to see. So here is another one that looks quite similar to Dodge. There's a lot that look like Dodge compared to Sakara in the group. Right now there's 15 fish in total. And I'd say the majority take back after Dodge, which isn't a bad thing at all. I love Dodge. Dodge is a beautiful Oranda. But the ones that look like Sakara is interesting too. See, there's another one. Looks like Dodge. So far, I will tell you, I've only culled one fish for a really bad tail. And then there's one fish currently that I'm looking to cull, which I mentioned before. But honestly, I really haven't had to cull very many, but this was not a large group of fry, which I didn't want to begin with because I don't have a lot of room right now because I have Night and Comets fry. Here is one of my blue-eyed girls. So she looks a lot like her mama. And the funny thing about Sakara is she has one button eye and one blue eye. So it's very interesting to see button eyes versus blue eyes in the fry. This one gets a lot of attention on my Instagram when I post her. People just love to see how her scales are changing. And this one's another that looks like a Dodge. I like this one's body shape a little bit more than the others. This one's one of the bigger ones that looks like Dodge, so it will go in a tub with the bigger guys when I change them over. But I like the tail on this dude. He is getting quite chubby. They all are. I did not keep them on baby brine shrimp very long. I actually switched them to steamed egg and Rapashi Super Gold fairly quickly. And here is the last two. One looks like mom, one looks like dad. I was simply running out of time, and they were the last two that I hadn't looked at, so I put them in together real quick and got a good look at them. The white pinky there is a runt, but we'll see how she grows into be. So that's all I have for today, and I'll see y'all next time.